Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Kind Heart Homestead. My name is Ben, and I'm up here on our off-grid property in the mountains of Virginia. I'm standing here outside of our garden because I'm loading up our gorilla cart as a trailer for the lawnmower. And I'm going to take it way down there across the driveway near the pond where our wild grapes are growing. If you've been keeping track of our posts on Instagram and Facebook, and if you've seen our foraging video, you would know that we have a bunch of wild grapes. We think they might be muscadines, and my understanding of muscadines is they're not really good for much else besides making juice. And they're all finally purple and ripe looking, so we are going to see what we can do with them. First step is sorting through them, and then maybe we can try to make some juice, turn that into jelly. So if you want to see that, stick around, and we'll be right back. Like an umbrella of grapes. So when Angie said she was ready to make jelly, I got pretty excited, so I went into the shipping container and found all of the mason jars that we had in storage. I'm sorting the jars because I don't know which size Angie wants. So now let's watch what she does with the grapes.
Hey, we've collected muscadine grapes. I'm going to make grape juice. I've never done it before. I looked up a recipe. Gotta clean them up, cook them down, squeeze out the juice, and maybe we'll make jelly, depending on how this goes. But hopefully by the end of today, we'll just have some juice. They smell really good, and I think it's going to taste good. I'm looking forward to it. I moved the grape juice making project into the camper. The pot I had outside was too small for the amount of grapes I had, and That cook stove out there is too strong. The flame, you can't really get it down to a good simmer, and it ended up boiling over and making a mess. I have a bigger pot and a smaller stove. That's the solution. Here is what I got going on. It's a cook stove that we have here in the camper and a stock pot. And my goodness, this juice smells so good. It's been simmering now for about half an hour. That's what the recipe says. And it seems like it's cooked down really good. It's like a mash. I've been stirring it a lot, but the grapes have all broken up. And the next step is to put it through a colander or a cheesecloth. We'll do that here pretty soon and give it a taste test and see what to do with it. Hopefully it tastes as good as it smells. Now it's time to strain all the pulp and seeds from the juice. I have a colander and then a smaller sieve. I'm doing the colander first because we don't have a big version of this, to get most of the big stuff out first. Alright, even with the big colander, I have to work in batches. That's a lot of pulp. A lot of big seeds in there. I'm gonna transfer this back into this pot, or into a pot, but this is a good one. I'm a little nervous about it, so I think I'm just gonna use the ladle. Well, the fine mesh is getting clogged, so this I think is going to take a little longer than I thought. So let's speed this up. Here's the juice, triple strained juice. It's so pretty. It smells so good. It's a little sour, so might add some sweetener. But it's our first, it's my first time doing this, and I could probably use some better equipment to make it go a little smoother, but I'm pretty satisfied with the results and the quantity that I got. Probably close to a gallon of juice, maybe more like a half gallon. So try to figure out what to do with it next.
If you look closely at our little prep table, you'll notice that Angie portioned the juice into some clean mason jars. And those just need to sit around because Angie still has some more work to do preparing the mason jars for proper storage. You can see she's putting our smallest mason jars down in the canning pot to sterilize them. We have this submersible rack that is supposed to be helpful for getting multiple jars down into the water. It doesn't seem to be really designed for the smaller jars. They can actually slip through the cracks and fall down, so we have to be pretty careful. And I think that's why Angie pre-poured water into the jars because they'll float to the top and get all out of order if they're not weighted down somehow. So that's actually a pretty smart move, and I'm surprised I hadn't thought of it. Angie just poured the juice into a pot to heat it up, and now we just have to wait. We're waiting because the mason jars need to finish sterilizing. That's going to take at least 10 minutes in the boiling water, and there's no reason to cut that short. Just be patient. Make sure all of the microorganisms are killed so nothing contaminates your products. Now Angie is sourcing all of the ingredients she needs to finish making the juice into jelly.
When I make jelly and jam, I like to use Pomona's Universal Pectin. It's a kind of pectin that's activated by calcium, and you don't need to use a lot of sugar or sweetener. In fact, there are recipes using this pectin that use no sweetener at all. A box of Pomona's Universal Pectin comes with a packet of 100% pure citrus pectin, a packet of white calcium powder, and an insert with directions to make jellies and jams of any kind of fruit you can think of. The first step for any of the jelly or jam recipes is to mix calcium packet with water and shake well. You'll use this calcium water in any of the recipes. I don't have lime or lemon juice, so I substituted white vinegar with 5% acidity. The recipe for grape jelly calls for grape juice, lime or lemon juice, sweetener, pectin, and the calcium water. I put the juice, the vinegar, and the calcium water into a pot, and I brought it to a boil. You want it to boil so it's a vigorous boil that does not dissipate when you stir it. Then I mixed the pectin with a sweetener. I did use some sweetener for this because to do the no sugar recipe, you have to mix this pectin with some juice in a blender. And as I mentioned earlier, this juice was a little sour, so I wanted some sweetener. So you mix the sweetener with the pectin in a bowl, and then you sprinkle that into your boiling juice and stir it vigorously for a minute or two so that the pectin can dissolve. And then you fill your jars. You want to leave at least a 1/4 inch of headspace. That's where you have room between the top of the jar and the contents of the jar. You wipe the rims clean and screw on your lids. To process these jars in a water bath, I need to boil them for 10 minutes plus 1 minute for every 1,000 feet above sea level. We're at about 3,000 feet, so I will boil these jars for 13 minutes. This grape jelly turned out delicious. Kind of tastes like Concord grape jelly. I like to eat it on biscuits, pancakes, and waffles with some butter. If you liked watching this video and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Kind Heart Homestead.